AI agent is different from just AI. AI agent is like, just like I said, models having to do specific tasks, right? So AI agents are just like that, but they are more than an agent. I would give it prompts based on, okay, maybe this is what I want to do. I want to start a business in manufacturing spices. So what are the best combination of spices that you prepare? But, for you to be able to get accurate results, you have to understand what you want to get from it. So you have to have a goal, right? You have to have a task that the AI is going to perform for you. What they did for OpenAI ChatGPT is that when you query it, based on your goal, it's going to choose which model is best. But that is why you would not understand, you would not know if this model is this or this model is this. So what we call prompt is to organize your thoughts, right, and then give it to the AI so that the AI will give you the perfect result that you wanted.
Hello everyone and welcome to another exciting episode of the Together We Nudge podcast, where we inspire, empower and nudge you towards becoming the best versions of yourselves through knowledge and innovation. I am Emanuela, your host, and today we have an amazing session lined up for you. You are a business owner, an aspiring entrepreneur, or simply curious about the future of work, you'll definitely want to stick around. Joining us today is someone who wears many hats in the tech space, Mohammed Tanjide. Mohammed is a product strategist and an AI enthusiast with a solid background in computer science and project management. He has led dozens of tech workshops and mentorship programs during his university days as an I4G ambassador, Salesforce trailblazer, community students ambassador, and so much more. Today, Mohammed is building AI-powered tools for productivity with a passion for using technology to empower people and solve real-world problems. He will be sharing with us insights on how artificial intelligence can be applied in business management and entrepreneurship, helping businesses run smarter, scale faster, and stay competitive in our fast-changing world. Mohammed, you are most welcome to the Together We Nudge podcast.
Thank you very much.
We are so excited to have you on the show.
Thank you very much.
All right, so let's dive right in. So, Mohammed, can you tell us a little about your journey? How did you first get into AI and product strategy?
So anyway, it's a very interesting story. I actually started, during my university days, as I was, preaching the individualism of tech. So I kind of dived into so many topics, right? So people would come to me for mentorship, like what do they do? So as I also figured out what I should be doing. So I tried so many, like you said, the earlier times I wore many hats. I tried so many tech, skills, but none of them actually really stood out until when I started, product management. And I feel like I have a connection with that. So, I started with that. And then fast forward to 2023, when AI was just coming out and everyone was just speaking about AI, told myself that I want to try this. And that's when I started my journey into AI. And I said, if I am going to win, then I'm going to be part of the, contributors to the tech industry has to dive into AI. And so that is why I started, learning more about AI. And now we are diving into AI agents.
Wow, amazing. He said something about him trying a lot of things before he finally settled for product management. And that's not unlike young people. As a young person, there are days when we're curious, there are days when we want to jump on trends, but over time, you find something that works for you and then it clicks. All right, Mohammed, so what inspired your interest in merging AI with business and entrepreneurship?
Yeah, so when I finished my studies, that's late 2023, early 2024, I started a job at Boros Enterprise. And so what we do at Boros Enterprise is to make businesses go digital. and then help them streamline processes of business. So I enjoyed learning by job, and that was one inspiration for me. And then the other one is that I have many entrepreneurial friends who are trying to come up with business ideas and work on businesses. So, and at that time also, I was kind of juggling between AI and working as positive prices. So that gave me some kind of inspiration to match both, work with businesses and then use AI to implement and then make it more, to make it more efficient for businesses and also productivity as well.
In simple terms, how would you define artificial intelligence for someone who is into tech, who is not into tech?
So you see, I would like to go into backstory here. So artificial intelligence, when you take things that people say, people do, and then you take a machine and then try to dump all those things onto the person, onto the machine, right? And then the machine keeps learning about it. So you cannot say artificial intelligence without machine learning. So it's kind of it has something to do with the learning of the machine to make it artificial intelligence, to make it intelligent, right? So, and now all those things that people say and people do, all the pictures, all the videos that you're dumping into the machine, so it's now learning it and then making sense of what it is. So, and that gazillions of data that's going to produce many data, and then you have you have something on the server, right? So now I know that when you say AI, the next thing that someone is going to think is ChatGPT. So, but it's actually more than that, right? So when you have those tons of amount of data on a system, on a server, we call it server, and then you now kind of query it, let's say from what we call LLM, which is large language model, because there's so many kinds of artificial intelligence. So large language model, which is basically what we're going to be the center of our topic today. An example of it is ChatGPT, Cloud, or any other one, Gemini, whichever one you want to say. So now you query that data, and then immediately you query it, it's going to give you information based on what it has learned. So that's kind of like how the best way I can just describe artificial intelligence. So it's more like tons of data that is being stored, that is being trained to a machine and then stored in a server. And then, when queried, it will give you the exact sentence that is being asked from it.
What are some practical ways, especially small and medium-sized enterprises, can begin to use AI today?
So here, SMEs, right? Small businesses. Well, I think anyone can start using AI by, you'd want to know what you want to do, right? You'd have to make a research on what you want to do exactly. And then with that, we have different models for different kinds of things that you want to do. So in a general business for SMEs, for instance, now you'd have like 4, things. You'd want to do your products if you're manufacturing products. So you'd want to like query or prompt or ask the AI to let you know what are the things that you want to start. Maybe you want to start a business now, you want to start production of business. Let's say, for instance, you want to start maybe spices, for instance. So you could use one model that is used for manufacturing. So there's so many models when you're using AI. For instance, ChatGPT itself has many models. You have, now that we have GPT-5, we have, before when we had GPT 3.5, we have GPT 4, we have 3.0, we still have 4.0, we have 4.0, we have 4.1, 4.0 mini. So those kinds of models are used for different kinds of things. So for you to be able to use it for a business, you have to identify what kind of business you want to do, and then which model is best suitable for your business. So you have to make a research on that. So and that you can actually use the general language model, which is GPT-5, So to ask is like, what's the best model for me to use on what kind of business, right? So you can just query it. So most of the times when we're using AI to, we do our work, we just ask random questions. So these understanding the model could actually help in what kind of particular thing that you want to do. So another thing you should look out for is having your goal in mind, right? So sometimes we just kind of ask ChatGPT plain, simple English questions, which is to a point reasonable, right? Because we don't have any idea on those things, right? But you want to, have that idea. But, for you to be able to get accurate results, you have to understand what you want to get from it. So you have to have a goal, right? You have to have a task that the AI is going to perform for you, right? So that you get so what we call prompt is to organize your thoughts, right? And then give it to the AI so that the AI will give you the perfect result that you wanted. And it is like sometimes people take AI as friends and then they ask it, personal question, give it context, right? So now I'm trying to explain it in a way that, you can understand. So first you need a goal, what you want to achieve after prompting it, what you want the AI to be for you. So in the goal, you would have to give it a task that, okay, you do so things for me to achieve this so thing, right? And then you give it context. Context meaning information on what that is. So if you know your goal already, and then you know what you want to do, you know what you're right to do, and then you give it information. That's a context on what it should do. And then the last one is the tone at which you want your answer to be. You want a conversational tone? Do you want a friendly tone? Do you want to have a professional tone or informal tone? So those are kind of things that you need to understand before prompting or before asking or querying an AI to give you what you want. So we have 4 things. The important one is that you have to have a goal. You have to have what you need to the AI to give you at the end of the day. And then you have to have the tasks that it will give you. And then you have to have the information, the context of what you are asking it. And then you have to have the tone in which you want the answer to be given in. So let's say, for instance, that is when you know what you want, right? Let's say, for instance, now you have no idea, that's it. And then you want to have an idea on that. You can easily just telling the AI that, oh, hey, this is what I want. You can just give it information without actually, giving it a code. But where it understands your information better, that's the context better, you're now going to ask it again, and do you understand what you want to do, right? And then the AI is going to tell you. So that is how sometimes you need to give it context. The context is more important than the code itself. So when you don't know what to do, you give it more context, and then with the context, it's going to give you the answer that you want.
Oh, wow, that's really interesting because you said something. I need you to clarify more. The fact that you said like there are different models designed for different specific businesses. So you give an example of a person who was to go into production of spices. So I thought AI, any model at all can perform. It can perform large function of some using spice production, shoe making, hair making, whatever one. Similar.
Yeah. At some point, yes, that's true. But even in the production, even in when you're doing your spice business, for instance, now you want to maybe there's someone handling manufacturing. It's just like a team, right? You can have someone manufacturing a business. You have someone marketing. You have someone another person doing sales. You have another person doing customer relations, right? So all those are different models that, can do. So let's say, for instance, now in the production of spice, right? So there is a particular model that is going to be for the production itself, right? So it can also be in any business as well. So the AI or the model that is handling the production part is going to be different. Then the AI model that is going to be handling maybe marketing, the model itself is different. And the AI that is responsible for sales, the model should be also different. Yeah. So it's not as if for businesses. No. The business itself, let's say take the general business, right? And then you now have the models that make the business a complete business from production to markets and a customer relationship, right? So from now take each part of the business. Production is a different entity is on, and then you have the marketing is a different country on, the sales a different entity. So all those different entities, you're kind of going to use different models for them. So yeah, but now there are general models, which are LLMs that, let's say, for instance, GPT-5. GPT-5 is a general model. So now what they did for OpenAI ChatGPT is that when you query it, based on your goal, it's going to choose which model is best for you. And then, yes. So that is why you would not understand, you would not know if this model is this or this model is this. But for you, if you want to if you want to get the best out of it, some are just the general language, model that they just, because it has tons of gazillions of data, they already know how to respond to it perfectly. But if you want to answer, you need to have a model that is already in line with what you want to do exactly, whether it's manufacturing, customer service, or any other model that it took what you want to do.
Wow, thank you so much. So to be honest, I was going to ask you that how do you expect, you are talking about newbies here. So how do you tell them to use this model for this, use that? But then you've given me character. And I was even going to ask you if you could give an example of a particular model that is general. But then you made it clear now that GPT-5, am I correct? Yeah. So the next question now will be that's this particular model, which is 5, is it free or do you need to pay? Do you need to subscribe to get all the features?
No, you don't need to pay. So for instance, GPT-5 has a free version. So what it did is GPT-5 Pro, that's which one you pay. So GPT-5 has almost the same features of GPT Pro, but GPT Pro has more advanced and have enhancements. For instance, when you come to doing a picture, right? When you want to fronting a picture. So the GPT Pro has more enhanced feature that's going to make it more enhanced than the one that is not paid. So that's the differences, but almost everything that is in Pro is available also in GPT-5. So we can start using GPT-5 virtually.
Okay, is Pro different from Plus? Because I know Plus.
Yeah. So I think we have the GPT-5, GPT Pro. There's another Plus, and then there's an Enterprise.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
Wow. So there's GPT-5, then the higher version, the next higher version is Pro, and we have...
Yes, the Enterprise 14, you can add as many people you want, but there's a particular price you have to pay for it.
All right. So it means anybody can have access to use GPT-5. So for beginners, you forget about Pro or Plus or... Yeah. How can startups and entrepreneurs leverage on AI to grow their businesses?
So the way I would do it, if I had to start over again, is to have, I would have my goal, right? So what kind of business I'm into, right? So when I have that, I am going to separate that into, when you're chatting with maybe let's take ChatGPT, for instance, because that's the one that people know. So let's take ChatGPT. So when I'm chatting with it, so I have different sections for my business. So I have one business, right? So if I'm into manufacturing, so I'm going to have a different chat for manufacturing. I would give it prompt based on, okay, maybe this is what I want to do. I want to start a business in manufacturing spices. So what are the best combination of spices that you'd recommend? So it kind of gives me all those things. So, and then now if I want to go into marketing, some people who do the mistake of going into that chat again, but it's a good thing because I like the LLM at ChatGPT actually has that capacity of having much model into one chat. But to get effective way of having the perfect or the best one is to use different model, which is opening another chat. Now leveraging that the other one, so you could use the chat, copy all the chat that you've made with the other AI, the other model, and then posting it there and then telling it to act as a marketer now for this business, right? And then when you've already given it context, that's the context for that one, right? So now the marketing, so it's now like, okay, you have the manufacturing department, now you have the marketing department under the same chat GPT, but different chats, right? So now after you've, gotten all the rules of marketing and everything outlined, so you can now copy the chat again. If you want to go into sales now go and start another chat and then paste all what you've done in the market, so that this is what you've done in the market. And so you want to now sell, right? So it gives you the tips for sell. And then, so that is the way I would do it and start up again, right? So, but in a more simpler use case, you can just use one chat, but anytime you want to query it, you'd have to give it a word and then give it context, give it information, like give it, all those, what do you call it? Give it the information that it will need, and then, tell it that, okay, this is the tone that you want it to, give you response to you. So yeah, that is it.
Okay. Well, I think you answered the next question I would have asked, and that's when you said you have to open several chats. How you first said that you have to use different models. So I was wondering, I only installed one app at a time, but then when you started actually opening chats, so I was thinking, okay, because I am guilty of using one chat for everything that I want.
Yeah.
But of course, when you make sure that you can also query it, you can prompt it to act as a particular and then it switches. Okay, thank you for shedding light on that, because lots of people make the mistake of assuming that it's a machine and it's been trained to. Some people even think that AI should know what's on their mind. Yeah. So when I just come and I say this is what I want to do, but based on my own personal experience, I found out that you still have to tell it what to do.
Exactly.
Even by it doesn't read your mind. I don't know. But it tells it to read. Exactly. Even humans can read humans' minds. Do you understand? So I don't think you should expect that from AI. So it's very important for you to tell it what you want it to do. So don't assume things, because like they say, the way you lay your bed is how you utilize your bed. So if you just come, if you prompt it anyhow, never to get anyhow response or feedback.
So, and AI do hallucinate, right? Okay, let's say for instance, now you ask it something else and then it starts bringing you another thing. So it might be the same in the same line, but it's not what you want. Mm-hmm. So that is as a result of bad prompting. So, because if we go deeper into, prompting, we have good prompt, we have bad prompt, we have semi-good prompt, right? So, yeah, AI hallucinates in results of bad prompting. So, and then another way is that when you prompt it too much about the same thing over and over again, it begins to hallucinate again. So, it's important to note when to actually stop and when to switch back to, the right model. So, whatever you're trying to prompt an AI, you should always give it a role, give it contexts in the text part to listen. So the tone that also is important.
Oh wow, thank you. Let me ask you a quick question. Would you share a success story where AI made a significant difference in a business or project?
Yes. I just not long ago I developed an AI agent that actually, so what it does is that it scans through a lot of CVs. So when there's a form to fill out, it's mostly for HR companies. So they give out a form and then they fill out, the candidates fill out the form, and then the AI agent itself scans through the form and analyzes it based on the job title. And then after analyzing it, then it's going to give the HR some kind of a overview of the person. If it's like an application tracking system, right? But this time it is smart. It understands the person's CV and then gives output based on that one. So what it does is that after it looks through the job title and then what the person has on the CV, so it's now going to tell if the person is qualified or not. Now, that's not only what it does, right? After it tells you that this person is qualified or not. If the person is qualified, he sends an automated email to that person that's okay, or you're moving to the next we're moving to the next phase, which is the first interview. So that is when a person will now interview the person, the candidates, right? So, but if you feel like if it fails to, if the CV failed the tracking system, so unlike the messages you receive when you apply for something that unfortunately you are not able to, so it's going to tell you exactly what your CV needs to be revamped in. So it's not only just giving you feedback that you did not qualify for the job, but it's going to give you feedback where maybe the job title is not the same thing as what you selected. Mostly that is it. And then maybe your CV needs to be revamped based on maybe you did not have some certain keywords in your CV which is later in there. So that is one key gap that was in the application tracking, the traditional application tracking system, and then the one we built with the AI. So actually we built it with the resources of Girls Enterprises. So we're actually using that to get more companies, HR companies to we want to make it more official to other HR companies to use that. So we built it in such a way that I'm sorry to say it, but it's the way people have been saying that AI is going to kind of take many people's job. Yeah. So we've actually come to that era. But the thing is that if you know more about AI, you're actually going to use it more to your leverage, right? So, but we want to hand it over to companies where they can handle their own data, right? And make use of those data to make informed decision.
Wow, amazing. How do you see AI shaping the future of business and entrepreneurship in Africa? And what advice would you give to a young person who wants to start exploring AI as a tool, as a career path, or as a tool for their business?
The thing is, the AI is actually shaping the world entirely. So, and developed countries already have the grasp of it, but I feel like we still have a long way to go in Africa, especially in Nigeria and especially in the Northeast. But every innovation now, it should be AI enabled, right? So that is why at Girls Enterprises, we have been, honing the skills to actually make AI be the forefront of what we do. And, basically, the world is now shifting to a world where everything should be AI. And I think I was reading some article the other day, and then I saw that in the next, maybe in 2035, everything would now be AI enabled. Now look at it. Even the apps that we have now are mostly AI enabled. Udemy, you have AI assistants. Even on simple websites, you have AI assistant. And I feel like every business who is coming up right now, startup is coming up right now, should have AI integrated to its system, so that, because we are in the world right now, so we can't deny. And we need AI actually too, because everything is now about AI. So that's where I feel like Africa is heading to. And I feel like the more we learn about it, the more we used to it, and then the more we adopted it. So when you're talking about having someone who wants to base a career on AI, leverage AI to there are three things here, right? One is that you have a job already, and then you want to leverage your AI to be more productive in your job. And then another one is that you want to switch from what you're doing right now to go into AI. So what kind of career opportunities I have there for you, right? So, and then another thing is that you want to enhance your business with AI, right? So let me take the first one. Now, the first one is that using AI for productivity is actually basically simple, and that is what we are trying to do at Bros Profess. We're going to be having more seminars on how to leverage AI to be more productive in your work. So you'd have to understand what model you want to use on the work. And then number two is that you want to tell the models understand your goal, like what you want to do. So, and then you have it also tell you what tools would you leverage on to use in order to make it productive, because there are tons of AI tools that you can use, not only ChatGPT. If you're like, for instance, now in marketer, you don't only rest on ChatGPT. You have other tools that can help you edit videos. You can have other tools that can help you do voiceovers. You can have other tools that can help you, streamline your copywriting, right? So just like there are models in ChatGPT, there are also kind of AI built on those, models to help you, make your work very similar in that. So, and that is for, enhancing your career as a career person. So there are tons of opportunities for in the AI industry right now, as, if you want to use AI as a career ladder. So one is you want to train AI. So there are people hiring to train their AI, because like I said from the initial set, that you have these tons of data that you feed into a system. So those companies are actually hiring. So I think you can go onto Upwork, Fiverr, and then you see that there are, you could register and then you can just start training AI to, and I think Google crowdsource is doing that. That one is a free one, so you can just volunteer to train your AI, to train it on maybe local language, and also maybe train it on snacking features and feeding it to the AI. So all those ones are readily available from any other remote areas. So, and then you can go into prompt engineering, and I think that's the most lucrative one. Some company pays around $100,000 per year for prompt engineering. With basic ones are like $50,000 or $50-something a year. So, and if you go into prompt engineering, it's actually a very simple course. I've taken it, and you can it's most of these online institutions like Udemy, Coursera, edX, they all give it for free. You can simply enroll in it, and then start your career from there. So, and when you're doing that, you need to leverage AI stuff to be posting on your social media, LinkedIn, X, so that, we can get ahead on, right? And when people know what you do, you're actually, adding that. So those are some of the things that you need to do. And for businesses, like I think, like I mentioned earlier, so you need to be able to understand the prompt itself, to understand how you're going to prompt it to help you in the business. So you can divide your business into sections, right? And tell it that, okay, what you want it to be a marketer, right? And then you want to market your products. It's going to give you all the templates, all the template that you need to, qualify as a marketer, right? So, and then if you want to do sales, you can just prompt it to give you what you need to do as a salesperson. So it's going to kind of like break it down to you to the base level, to a layman level that we can use to, make more informed decision. So, and I think another thing we're trying to go into is building AI agents. Now, AI agent is different from just AI. AI agent is just like I said, models having to do specific tasks, right? So AI agents are just like that, but they are more than agents. Sorry, they are more than models. So what AI agent does is that, for instance, the one I told you about, the one we built for HR companies, that's an AI agent. It does things autonomously. So what you've already given it what to do, that it does it without need any human intervention. So you've already trained it to the perfect way that it does not need human intervention, and then you just kind of continuously do stuff like that. So the message is going to send to person A is not the same message is going to send to person. So that's how it's different from this thing. So AI agents, like for instance, you can use lead management. So I think that's what I'm working on next. also able to help companies generate links, not needing to, start making cold calls to get leads, right? So you just leverage AI, scrape websites, and then, have it on the database. Then you can start making your calls. Or you can use the AI, leverage the AI itself to send emails. You can send 1,000 emails in a day. So if you get 100, from that 100 feedbacks, I mean, that's a win, right?
Yeah, I was smiling. It's talking about leveraging AI to get leads. These loan sharks, they do it a lot. You just receive calls and then they are telling you. Sometimes I'm like, no, but there was a day when they called me and they were calling another person around me. And I'm like, how did they get access to our phone numbers? So could it be that they're also leveraging on AI to get these?
Definitely. That is true. Because some of these calls are uniquely AI, because some.
Exactly. They don't sound like human.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, yeah. So those are kind of what I think the Nigerian version is kind of. I don't know. It's embarrassing in some way, because when you hear it, you know that this is it.
There was a day they called me and I put the phone on speaker and what are they using a low budget AI?
Exactly. That's definitely. But though, when I was watching one video, the bot did not sound. It sounded human, and like it responds based on what you ask it, and it gives a perfect response, and it's a sales agent. So like it's an AI agent that makes sales using bodies, and it's all leverage upon ChatGPT. They train it with perfect way that it can answer calls, it can even initiate calls.
All right, I must say that it's been very insightful and very educative talking with you. So thank you very much for coming on the show. So let's just get a little personal. Behind, there is a Mohammed, there's a Tajuddin behind, aside the AI. So let's get to know you on a personal level.
How did love to test her?
So I'm sure you can handle them. If AI could take over one task in your daily life right now, what would you happily hand over?
Wow, let me think. Oh, well, this one in particular, the thing is, I love to do my things myself. Sometimes, even when I give my siblings to wash my clothes, sometimes it doesn't get done the right water. But to be honest, like, I would say, so under my laundry, that's lies way in the future. But to under my laundry, I hate that with passion.
Okay. It appears that I'm not the only one on that table. I take very laundry. Like I can literally cry.
Passion, right?
Honestly. All right. So coffee or tea?
Oh wow, that is a very very hard one. Well, I prefer coffee on some days, better on some days, but 30 anytime.
All right. Early bird or night owl?
Definitely early bird.
Okay. So what's one non-tech hobby you really enjoy that people might not expect?
Well, people might not expect me reading, but I do enjoy reading a lot.
Okay, I expect you reading because you do a lot of things. You know a lot of things already. They didn't fall from the sky. You stumble on them. So obviously give yourself to study. So what's one thing that would shock me right now?
You shock you. Is that I love watching movies.
Yeah, I'm not sure, but at least they're not tech hobby, so
Yeah, okay.
that. So if you could have dinner with any innovator, past or present, who would it be and why?
Past or present? Yes. I would say Steve Jobs.
So,
Yeah, Steve Jobs. He has this amazing innovation, and Apple right now, they said it is right now. It's just like it's normal, but it's legacy that's living. So, and I'll really like to have a one-on-one with him to understand what he is, how even though there are a lot of videos on the business, but I would want to get personal with people to understand what's really is motivator, because we all know some of the things that you say out in the public is not necessarily what you have experience. So like I want to understand it. I want to live this life. Yeah.
Wow, what an insightful conversation. Thank you so much once again, Mohammed, for sharing your passion, your knowledge, and your experience with us today. All right. And to our listeners, I hope you picked up valuable nuggets on how AI can help you rethink business management and entrepreneurship. If you would like to connect with Mohammed or learn more about his work, we'll leave his details in the show notes. And of course, don't forget to follow us on our social media handles at the Nerd Hub and at Nerd Studios for more inspiring conversations. Until next time, keep nudging forward, keep innovating, and keep becoming the best version of yourself. This is Emanuela signing out from the Together We Nudge podcast. Take care and see you in the next episode. Bye.